Welcome to Heart with Joyous J. I'm your host, Janice Pettigrew, affectionately known as Joyous Janice. This podcast is dedicated to providing encouragement and support as we travel together unearthing the powerful and awesome person within just waiting to emerge. So strap on your seatbelt, adjust the rearview mirror, put your foot on the gas, make sure your gear's in drive. Eyes forward. Now let's get going. Well, hello and welcome back to another episode. This week I want to talk to you about defining yourself, or actually redefining yourself, because we have to look at that. Many times how we see ourselves is based on how others view us. And this week I want you to take time to recognize your positive characteristics you already possess, as well as begin to identify areas of improvement. This will allow you to begin to see a correlation between your thoughts and the thoughts of others. The purpose for this week's episode is to help you learn to fall in love with yourself all over again, if not for the first time, and to also give yourself permission to be comfortable in your own skin. You know, there's something we all seem to have in common. The desire to be liked, loved, and appreciated by others. The problem arises, however, when we place more stock in the opinions others have formed about us than what we believe about ourselves. Continuing this pattern for too long, and you could stand in the mirror and look at yourself staring back and find yourself asking, who is that person looking at you? And if you add to it the effects from an unhealthy relationship or some other event that has caused you to question who you are, you could find yourself forever caught in a cycle where someone else has the power to control you. Now, you don't want that to happen. So I want you to grab that journal you've been working in for the last couple of weeks, and I want you to sit down and take a moment and think back to the first time you can recall someone else's opinion dictated your reactions to a circumstance or event in your life. Now, it doesn't have to be a major earth-shattering event, but it must be one you know has played a role in your decision-making skills since then. So go ahead, write that down, and be as detailed as you possibly can. Now, once you've written that down, I want you to think about this. If you could go back in time to that person, what would you say or do to encourage them to embrace their uniqueness and revel in their individuality? Now, that person I'm talking about, of course, is you. If you could go back in time and instead of letting what someone else's opinions about you matter more, I want you to think about yourself. And what would you say to encourage yourself and get you to embrace your uniqueness and your individuality? Now, I don't want you to think about it too hard right now, but I would like for you to take some time within the next week to just go through the journal and really think about that. And in the process, I want you to write down words you use to encourage the young you. You have to think about it many times without even really giving it much thought. We have put the opinions of others above our own opinions. Now, what I'd like for you to do is to write these 3 questions down. And I want you to answer them whenever you get an opportunity to the very best of your ability. First question: are you still allowing others to make choices and decisions for you? Question 2: in previous relationships, it doesn't matter whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, of camaraderie, whatever the case may be, did you feel comfortable voicing your opinions? And then the final question, the one that's the most important one of all. Are you ready to take back the power you lost? Now, I hope this will prompt you to take a different approach to how you've been viewing the world around you. I hope it means you're ready to live and not just exist. And so then there's this one exercise I want you to do. I need you to make 2 lists. Yep, use that journal again. On the first list, the heading should be what I think of me. And then on that second list, I want you to write what others think of me. And as you're writing these things down, just continue. Do the first one, then do the second one. And then I want you to look at both lists and be honest. Do you see any correlation between what you think and what others think? Is it a positive or a negative? Only you can answer this now, and be careful. And as you review this, have you discovered that your thoughts seem to lean towards the negative? Again, honesty is paramount here. Now, here's your biggest assignment that I want you to really concentrate on in the next week. I want you to write a letter to your younger self about your dreams and aspirations that you had. In this letter, lay it out. Lay what all your hopes and dreams were for that person. And really be as explicit as you possibly can. Now, question. As you're writing out this letter, I want you to take this into consideration. Will you remind yourself of the dreams you had? Do you remind yourself of the things that you already accomplished? Do you encourage this younger self and tell this younger self how much you love them? You. And if you're hesitating on that, I want to know why. Actually, I don't need to know why. You need to know why. And once you've answered this, then it's time to write a new letter. I want this letter to be filled with love and encouragement and positive affirmations. Now, you say, hold on, Joyce J. What do you mean by affirmations? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Affirmations. To declare positively or firmly. To maintain, to be true. To support or uphold the validity of. To confirm. Positive affirmations and positive thinking techniques can develop a powerful and positive attitude towards life, which is an essential element for healthy life and good health. And with this power, you can turn failure around into success, and then you can take success and drive it to a whole new level. You see, your positive attitude is the fuel for your success. Sound psychological techniques, your own personal power, and your connection to the universe can create an awesome combination to manifest any change in your life. There are no limits. Just go for it and prove it to yourself. Now, in just this little bit, have I given you enough reasons to make affirmations a new part of your life? Well, I hope so. In addition to that explanation, I want you to begin to make affirmations a part of your life, understanding that since it's a new activity and it requires effort on your part. You see, the objective is to begin to repeat those affirmations continuously until the mind accepts it as true. I'll never forget, there was a time I would get up in the morning and, hop in the shower. But when I got ready to put on just a little makeup, because I've never been a makeup person, I had little sticky notes on my mirror with some positive affirmations. You're beautiful. You're smart. You're a genius. You're loved. You're free. Those kind of things I wrote. And I remember a young lady once when I was speaking, and we had a little activity called the affirmation circle. Now, in the circle, I had a lot of affirmations that meant a lot to a lot of women, and they got so many more the more often I conducted the exercise. And it was actually great doing. And part of that activity it involved using one other person to be your mirror. Now, the purpose behind that is you wanted someone to reflect the acceptance and belief of the positive affirmation that you had. For instance, something as simple as, I am healed. Now, it could be healed from a sickness, or it could be healed from abuse, or just being healed from being downtrodden. And the person that you're repeating that affirmation to would help to make that affirmation more positive. Of course, in our little activity, if the person that you're repeating that affirmation to didn't quite believe you, their body language would encourage you to repeat it again, so that you would begin to let it dwell and grow on the inside, so that it then would be reflected on the outside. You see, the more you begin to think more positively about yourself, the least likely you'll be in a position to allow someone else to dictate to you about who you are and what your worth is. Your worth should be of the highest caliber, because you are unique, you are your own person, and most importantly, you should, above all else, love yourself. Because see, you can't really truly love someone else until you love yourself. You can't give the best of yourself to someone else if you don't give the best of yourself to yourself. Now, I hope that makes sense to you. You have to know without a shadow of a doubt that you are worthy for good things to happen. Now, not to say that bad things won't happen, but see, when you have a positive attitude, a positive mindset, then when obstacles happen, when things happen to throw you off track a little, that positivity in you is so strong, and the love within you for you is so strong that you are able to pick yourself back up and continue on your journey. You see, regardless of all the things that are happening around you, you should always be able to encourage yourself. You should be able to depend on yourself to encourage you. I never forget, there was many years ago, I was at a Christmas party. And purple is my favorite color, by the way. And I had on this beautiful purple dress. And I don't normally wear heels, but I had on heels that particular day. Um, and I guess I walked with a little more strut, as you might say, and confidence. And my husband and I, we were sitting at a table with about three other couples, co-workers. And I remember one of the other ladies sitting at the table made a comment. Perhaps she didn't even think that everybody at the table heard. But I remember my husband said to me later, she made the comment that, look at her, she thinks she's something. And my husband's response was, well, if she don't, who will? And the table just cracked up. So you see, my husband was looking out for me. How wonderful. But anyway, it's just an illustration of how if you don't think better of yourself, if you don't think highly of you, why would you think or expect someone else to do the same? You cannot allow someone else's ideas, thoughts become or define you. That just is not something that should be allowed by anyone. You are unique. You should love you. I want you to begin to write down those positive affirmations about you. Everything about you. Love your curves, love your hair, love your eyes, love your kindness. Just simply love you. You're worth that. Put the time into building you up so that when you're ready to try to help someone else, it doesn't take you down. It's okay to be there for others, but be there for you. You deserve so much more in life. And only when you acknowledge that, only when you accept that, only when you make it a part of your everyday thinking will it manifest itself and be visible for others to see in all parts of your life. You know, it's easy to have a smile on your face. Nobody may know that you're going through anything, but you have a smile on your face because you have confidence in yourself that you can succeed. Positivity is so important. So take the time to get to know you and to love you. All of you. Warts and all. It's okay. Never compare yourself to someone else. That's not your job. Your job is to be you. And if you're being your own unique, exotic self, no one can take that away from you. So use your journal within this next week. Write all those things down. Keep track of them. Write that letter to your younger self. Then write another letter for the self you are right now and where you hope to be later. Put it into perspective. What changes do you want to do? 3 months, 6 months, a year? Where would you like to see yourself? What positive attributes do you want to pass on so that others will see the real you? And yet you will see the real you, the one that can laugh and smile at your mistakes because you know that's just an opportunity to be successful on the next go round. It's easy to get down on yourself. We all do that without even hardly thinking about it. But to say something positive about your own self, that's harder because many times people say, or you've heard of not tooting your own horn. That's not tooting your horn. That's saying that you are valuable. And then you don't think you're valuable, who else will? Please, I beg of you, don't ever allow someone else to dictate who you are or how valuable you are. You are unique. You're wonderful. You're strong. Just continue on this journey of learning and growing. Because as you know, I speak from my heart to your heart. This is Joyous J. I hope you've enjoyed this time with me. Don't forget, write to me at joyousj57@gmail.com. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know that it's making a difference. Or just say hi. But either way, I know when you love you, you've won already.